Sorry about that, guys. I was flipping my camera around to take a picture for the thumbnail, and I wanted to see the screen a little bit. So, anyway, welcome to my channel. Looks like the screen is upside down to you. So, as I show you this, I'm going to go ahead and rotate these around, but I will work upside down. I'm trying to get this live thing figured out. I apologize for the growing pains that I'm going through at the time. But I wanted to jump on today and share with you the awesome new stamps that Joy Clair has released. They are being debuted in 4 days, and over the course of 4 days, today is day 4. Day 3, excuse me. So I can only show you what have come out in the first 3 days. And then I want to show you one way to use one of the stamps with some things in your stash, or maybe a new product to you. The affiliated link for this, for Joy Clair, is in the description box below, and the affiliated link to Tonic Studios and Nuvo is also in the description block below. Feel free to use those. It does help me in that I get a small commission at no extra cost to you. All right, so without further ado, let's go on and get started on these. I apologize for my raspy voice. My son had a basketball game last night, and I am that parent that cheers very loudly for my kid. All right, so this is the first one, and this is called I Think You're Swale. And I actually had this on my blog yesterday. It is so funny. Of course, it is a narwhal and a whale, and I had to do something with You Make Me Horny. So, the thing I love about Joy Clair is their sass and their sarcasm. Isn't that so cute? Alrighty, and then we have this adorable one called Lucky Charm. This is obviously for St. Patrick's Day, a fun little whimsical guy. Isn't he so cute? And then we have an Easter one. This is called Easter Greetings with some beautiful flowers. I love these bunnies. I have ideas for this, you guys. I think this will be beautiful with some tattered angels and 7 gypsy paper. So I can't wait to play with that later. And then you have just, a spring and Easter. But what I like is these words are broken up for you, so you can make any kind of combination that you would like. So that's super cool. Then we go on to more snarky. Valentine's Day. I don't know about you. I know there's a lot of Valentine lovers out there. I personally, I could take it or leave it. I think it's a Hallmark day for people the card companies to make money. So I really like this set. And it is single, #single. And you have Happy Single Appreciation Day. I love you just the way I am. With you, I'd go to the end of the world. Then I'd leave you there. So just some really fun, snarky stuff. This one is actually featured right now on my website. I did a project with it. So if you want to go check that out, you can head over there after this. I also have listed all the other designers that are debuting the day 3. This one, so we go from snarky and sassy to Bible journaling. This is what I love about this company, you guys. They're so after my own heart. I am like a Christian, and I love God. I believe in Jesus. But at the end of the day, I also have this really sarcastic, snarky sense of humor. And usually the two don't really meld together. You're either in one camp or the other camp, and I'm kind of in both camps. And usually the people over in the snarky camp kind of accept me more than the people over in the Bible camp too, but that's okay. This is why I'm on the Joy Clair design team, and I love them. It's because I can get my Bible too, and I know it's okay for me to say things like Cupid rhymes with stupid. All right. So this one is called Unashamed, and it has some beautiful little masks, and you could do some really great stuff with that. You could actually cut these pieces out and create your own little mini mask from maybe a paper doll. Lots of stuff to do there. I find my true identity in you. God will reveal and be unashamed. So that's a really great set. The other one is Bloom. I love this. I live in the desert, and I need a good cactus stamp. I cared for you in the wilderness, in the land of the drought. He will never desert me, and rejoice and bloom. This is a great stamp. So these are created to be used in your Bible journaling, as well as on your cards or in your scrapbook. There's so many ways you can use these. This one is another fun one. And I saw someone do something really great on the design team with it. It was a lot of white space. It was really beautiful. It's God's Promise. And you have just some rainbows, some rain, some little stars. And I love the font on this. I can't read it upside down now. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it gives Genesis 9:13. God always keeps his promises, and I will remember my covenant. Genesis 9:15. Isn't that beautiful? So much fun. The font on that is gorgeous. This one is another good one for Easter. It's Hosanna. With Hosanna, Messiah, welcome the King, save us now. In the heights, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord. I have been searching high and low for Easter stamps and Christmas stamps that are not cartoony, or, I want something that is more grown up or more religious to say, and this fits the bill for Easter. Then this one is Rise and Shine. One of the design team members did something amazing with this rooster. You have got to go over and check out the Joy Clair page, because they have all the blogs listed and where to start. And it was incredible. She did this country type card. It was so freaking cute. And this is Rise and Shine. And it's his mercies are new every morning. Rise and shine, give God the glory. Now I'm going to sing that in my head. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory. Remember singing that as a kid? In church? At camp? I do. Joy comes in the morning. Oh, I already read that. When I rise, give me Jesus. This is so awesome. I love that little rooster. Isn't he adorable? Okay, and then last but not least, and this is the one I'm going to play with today. This is a special one. This is Martha's Flowers. Our design team coordinator, our lead, her name is Martha, and this stamp was designed with her in mind. She is a flower lover. Now, I have to tell you, I am hard-pressed to actually impress me with a flower stamp. There are so many flower stamps out there. Every company has them, that they all start to look the same. But I love this, and I'm going to show you why. We're going to do a little project with this, and it is I'm going to be using a heavy-duty mixed media craft paper that has some texture on it, and the stuff I'm using is by Tonic Studios. It's called Craft Perfect. The size on this is interesting. It is a 12 by 8.5, so it's a very interesting size. You can get a lot of card bases out of this. What I'm doing is I'm going to create a card, and I've created a couple mock ones to show you later. But the reason why I'm using the Tonic Studios Craft Perfect, because if you joined me yesterday on my live, you did notice that I was using the Mistable Paints paper with Tattered Angel, because I was using their Glimmer Mist. Today I'm actually going to be using these amazing Aquaflow markers through Nuvo, which is Tonic Studios. I also have this. I love this case because these markers are unique in that they're like paint brushes. There's like paint inside of them, and they're water-based, so they move. All right. Once you get them down and they dry, they're not just set. Like, they can move. There's some motion to them with liquid. And by storing them on their side is the best way to store them without them leaking or taking forever to get to the nozzle, yada, yada, yada. So I'm really happy with this case. It really is wonderful to store these. It's pretty, it's sleek. And I have, I think, all but like 3 sets. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a fun technique that is kind of like a loose watercolor. And it is going to require some of that tonic paper that I showed you. I'm going to move this off. We're going to do that at the end with this. And I'm going to soak it. And I'm using the Tonic Studios paper with the Nuvo markers because they're by the same brand. And sometimes it's just nice to use the paper that was designed for the brand. I know it's going to hold up. I can experiment with other paper later, but I haven't done that yet. So I know that this works. So for this first card, I am going to lay out the color first. I'm going to move it around with some water, and then I'm going to stamp over it. And what this does is it gives a beautiful watercolor effect, but it doesn't take as much time as actually watercoloring in the whole image. So I'm going to start with the Aquaflow indigo color, And how this works is when you first get these, I think they have a band on them, and you have to kind of pop them open, take the band off, put the lid back on, and then you're going to want to press to get the watercolor down. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's actually a brush. So I'm just going to lay out some color on this, and I'm not like being, real meticulous, because I want it to have that beautiful watercolor effect on my card and on my flowers. Now, it's kind of dry, so what you can do is you can press it off. I like to press it off on my craft mat to the side because it will give a little drop. And then I can kind of spread that out, pick it up with my color again, and boom, there we go. And I'm just going to lay out this first color. And this is the indigo. And, I'm not being super, super picky with it. And then I'm going to lay out my next color, which is going to be the flamingo pink. And I think they all come in sets of 3. So this is one set, and I'm going to use the Arabian Night on the next thing I'm going to do with you guys, which is super cool. And again, I'm just popping down color wherever, and kind of just, I don't care if it's messy, whatever. All right. And then I'm going to lay out some Mango Madness. This is a really, really fun yellow. Now, if you notice, since this is a water base, it is picking up some of that orange, which is great. So if you want to go in and shade, you can totally do what I'm doing right now and color over those spots. And you see how I kind of get that orange when I do that, which is awesome. You can just totally color over, and I'm being messy. All right. And I just squeezed a little bit out, which is fine. So this is going to be really yellowy. And I don't have to worry about my tip too much. I can just kind of clean it off on the side and go on my way. From here, I'm going to take my misting bottle. Now, you could leave this as it is if you had done a lot of work shading it in. I don't want to. I want that loose watercolor. So watch this. I'm going to move it around. I'm going to mist this down, and it's just going to start to move it around. All right? Now, if I was happy with that, or if I wanted to watch it move a little bit more, I could just leave it as it is. That's the coolness about the Aquaflow markers, is you can just leave it. And I am going through and spritzing areas that I want to loosen some more. But I don't want this intensity for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a paper towel, and I am just going to lay it on top, like so. Remove it. And that is about the intensity that I want. If I wanted to go in and lighten this up, I could. I could lay more color out on top of this if I wanted to. So, like, let's say that I want to go in right here with a little more, a little bit more indigo down here. I can do that. Now, since my cardstock is wet, it's going to kind of start to spread out on its own, which is okay, because that's what it's supposed to do. So I can just go in and just keep laying down these colors as I want until I get the intensity or the coverage that I'd like. Oh, let's say that I did too much. Whoops. Not real happy about that. Go in, spray it down, loosen it up, take my paper towel and just pick up that color. And there we go. So it's such a cool and easy technique. So now that I have this, I need to wait for it to dry so that I can stamp on it. But I've already gone ahead and I have created another sample that I've let dry with this. This is the same color dry, all those same colors. So I'm going to set this aside to dry, and we're going to go ahead and just do the stamping on this from here with our Martha's flowers. I'm going to need my stamp pad because I'm going to be stamping off of the page. So I need my stamp platform. And I'm going to be doing some embossing. So I'm going to be stamping with my Nuvo Clear Mark Embossed Powder, embossed pad. Now the reason why I'm sticking with the Nuvo is because sometimes when you have the mixed media cardstock like this, it can make stamping, especially embossing, really hard because the whole intention of this cardstock is to absorb moisture. So I'm going to start off by getting my card down and laying out my stamp. And my stamp that I'm going to use from this set is going to be this one up in the corner. And I'm just going to lay it down, and I'm going to stamp it off of the page. There's something really aesthetically pleasing when we stamp things off of the page. All right, so now that I have that laid out, I'm going to go ahead and just pick that up. And I'm going to lay out my ink, and you're not going to be able to see it because it's clear, obviously. All right, and I'm going to do 2 coats of this just because I want to make sure I got a really good coverage on this. All right, now from here, I'm going to go ahead and take my little tray that I've had forever. If you guys notice that they come with the little tips, I always remove the tips just because it's really hard to try to pour your embossing powder in and then try to take the tip out and put the embossing powder back into the container. So what I do is I just leave it out, and I'm careful because I haven't figured out a trick to that one. All right, so the embossing powder, look at the top on that, isn't that so pretty? The embossing powder that I'm using is, again, the Nuvo Fine Detail, and it is going to be the copper. This is my favorite color as far as embossing powders that I have. I love copper. All right, and I don't care if I pour the whole bottle out. It doesn't matter because I'm going to put it all back in when I don't use. Okay, so look how pretty. All right, now if I have any stragglers, like right here, always have a soft brush to just brush that extra powder away. And what I should have done was I have a static, I have this is a static pouch, and you can basically rub it over the area you're going to stamp. I'll do that next time to show you. And it helps things like this not happen, especially when you're working on a paper that was wet. All right, so I'm going to take and I'm going to heat set this. You know that it's heat set when it turns glossy. So this is a fine embossing powder, which means I can heat set it on the top. All right, so that side's done. I'm going to go ahead and do the next corner, but that is so, looking so pretty. All right, so let me do the next corner. Gonna do the same technique. I don't think that I would be able to do this card without a stamp platform, just because I'm laying it out several times. It is clear embossing powder, and I really can't see it. So for this card from the stamp set, Martha's Flowers, I'm going to use this small one right here. And again, I'm going to do it off the side. Like so. Pick it up. Now, since it is embossing pad that we're using, it does stay moist a little bit longer, which means that I can go ahead and stamp out my sentiment as well, which I'm going to do. And I'm going to do that actually down in kind of the center as well, over in the center. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my sentiment. The sentiment I'm going to use is going to be Blessings. And I'm just going to put that kind of up here, like so. See, if I was editing this video, I would cut all of this out. Oh well. And I want to do it one more time because I'm not quite sure I got that B good. Oopsie. All right. So I will clean that off camera later on. And let me remove this and get this heat set. All right, so I'm just going to kind of dip it in, and I was going to show you my cool little pouch, and I forgot. Sorry, guys. All right. That looks like it's pretty good coverage right there. Go ahead and heat set this. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to the edges. I'm going to do something a little bit different that most people don't think about doing to their edges when they craft, and it's really beautiful. I'll show you why on a card. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and just emboss the edges. And you would do this with ink. A lot of people just take their ink pad and run it along the edge. But when you use an embossing sponge, sponge pad, you want to kind of dab it along the edge. You don't want to run it because you will damage your ink pad. And we don't want that. And I'm not really worried if it's perfectly straight. It's just, you know, to give the edge some definition. Some people keep their embossing powders in like Tupperware shoe boxes. That is so smart. I wish I had the storage to do that. That would be awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and heat set this. This time I'm going to use my fingers. All right. Now, I'm going to also attach it to a card base. I have cut this card base down 1/4 inch on each side. And I'm showing you how to do this. I know it may seem kind of silly, but this doesn't always hold very well with double-sided adhesive. I like to use a like a glue on the back of this because the paper is so thick. And so I run my glue about a 1/2 inch from the edge because I'm going to smoosh it out and get it nice and flat. And I'm just pushing it on out, getting that all nice and flat, like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and just finish this off with some Nuvo drops. And I'm going to use, actually these are glitter accents. And I think I was going to do the blue, but this is a little bit too dark. I think that one works better. These are the crystal drops. This is chocolate fondue. So let me see, is this the color that I want? Choose from what I have here. Yeah, we'll stick with this. So, or I have yellow. Let me do yellow. Okay, so these are glow in the dark glow drops, and this is banana split. They're neon yellow. And I have actually used this so much that I have trimmed the tip off. How funny is that? Whenever you're laying out little dots or drops, you always want to work in odd numbers with no more than like 7. Because if you get more than 7 going, it's a little bit hard on the eye. So there's 6 and there's 7. Okay, so let me show you the other 3 cards I created with this technique. Then I'm going to show you one more way that you can do a card with the aqua flows. So this is the first one I just did. Then I did a black and white one with some, I topped this one off with all of these off with glitter gloss. Basically what glitter gloss is just what it says it is. It is a gloss that is glittery. And so it leaves like this really pretty sparkly top to it. It's very subtle, so I just like to kind of go over the flowers with it just to give it a little bit of sparkle. And since it is liquid, it will move that color around. So keep that in mind as you do this. I personally like that. But normally I would layer this out before I would put my dewdrops on. All right, so I know it's hard to see, but it's pretty cool. Let's see if I can't get in closer for you guys. It's pretty cool stuff. So that's black and white with white embossing powder. This is the first card I did. It's silver, and I used the Aquaflow marker in soft rose, fresh green, and lilac blossom. Love, love, love this. This one has to be my favorite one. And then I use like these almost iridescent dewdrops so you can kind of see through them. I think they're so cool. Love them. And then I have the thanks that I did in gold. I did it with gold and then 2 shades of blue and a purple. So I'm going to show you one more way to use this, and it's just, I already have stamped it out so I don't have to spend your time watching me do that good jazz again. But I used the same paper and I stamped it out with the copper again. And this time I believe I'm going to be using cinnamon sticks, French wine, and wild phlox. So all you have to do with this is kind of cool because it's going to pool when you lay your water out. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You can just kind of color in randomly, and you can either leave it and not spray it, or you can spray it. So I'm just going to color in these flowers with a couple of these different colors. I like to work one at a time so I can use all of this, and then I'll do the next color and so on and so forth. Now I know that this is going to spread out, so I'm not doing a real heavy duty coloring on this. I'm not worried about my shading or any of that. I want it to be kind of random. All right, so I'm done with this one. I'm going to do Wild Wine next. That's pretty. And again, this came in a set. And if you feel like it's too dry, you just have to press where it says press off to the side, just in case you get, you know, a bubble of your ink. But that's not a big deal because you can just use your paintbrush and pick it up. I'm actually going to be demoing Creativation with Tonic Studios. And so if you're going to be there, come by and see me. I have posted on my Instagram my schedule. So yeah, come by and see me. I'd love to see everybody. All right, and then I'm going to take cinnamon sticks, and I'm just going to kind of do a wash on the back of the white space here. Okay. Like so. And again, if you want, you can go in, use the colors to blend within themselves, you know, and because you could totally make those two colors blend and do some awesome shading. All right, so there's that. Like, I could go back in with my Wild Phoenix right here and blend that in and create some really great shading if I wanted to. So now I'm going to go ahead and just take my mist, and I'm going to mist it and get that color to move. And do you see how it bubbles up with the, and I'm really going hard with my water. And see how it bubbles up like that? I wish I could pick it up, but I can't because it'll move. It bubbles up because of the embossed powder, the embossed image. So it kind of stays, and it gives it more definition, so to speak. So I let that sit for just a minute, and if I feel as though it's too intense of a color, then I can take my paper towel or absorbent cloth and just lay it out, lift it up, and that lifted it. Now it's this beautiful muted color, and I can go back through. So right now it's this, and it really moves that color. So let's say I think it's too light. All right, I'm going to just go back through and, ooh, that's too much ink. And just, you know, color it in again until I get it to my liking. But that's what's so fun about these Aquaflows is they're not permanent. So you can definitely play around with them until you get what you want out of it. And this paper, believe it or not, it dries super quick. Super quick. So I'm not even making any sense. I'm not even going over with the same colors that I started with. And see how pretty that effect is? I mean, it's spread out. So if you are into watercoloring and you don't want the mess, these things are awesome. You can do that with this. And I'm not going to put any more cinnamon on the background, but I am laying out more color on this, and I'm going to mist it one more time. I probably won't soak it as much as I did, but by soaking it, you can lay out your embossed image first, soak it up with some water, and then do what I'm doing, and then lay down color, that works too. There we go. Okay. But this just gives a little bit more structure. All right. So from here, I'm just going to take and I really like that. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to try to hold it up to you so you can see. But that's going to dry like that and be good to go. You can also take your heat gun and move the color around. That's fun too. In fact, let's play with that for a minute. So I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm just going to heat set it right now. And it heat sets relatively quickly. And I have a couple more little spots of wetness, which is fine. I'm just going to take my paper towel and pick that up. I really, really love how this looks. So I'm going to take that glitter gloss that I told you about, and I am going to just lay some out over my flowers to give it some sparkle. This stuff is amazing. I was so happy that it came in a package of 2 because I use this all the time. And what's so cool is it, I have like some white spots there. So I can go over here and pick up that color and add it with this little brush tip pen. Nuvo also makes empty bottles like this so you can create your own custom mixes with their pigmented powder. I can show you guys how to do that later. I got to get some more pigmented powder because I think I only have 1 from them. But that's so much fun. Okay. So this has to dry, and then I'm going to top it off, finish it off with some Nuvo glitter accents in copper. It's important that you don't lay out your glitter accents until your project is dry, simply because they'll spread. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I've been on twice with live. I enjoy doing lives because I don't have to sit behind my computer for hours and edits. Plus, I think it's fun for you guys just to see crafting in real time. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Go give Joy Clair, go check them out. They have a Facebook group as well. And they also have their page. It's a really fun, small company. It's a really great community. And Tonic Studios is awesome. They have solid products, so go check them out as well on Facebook. Make sure you shop my affiliated links. If you're interested, feel free to leave comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will chat with you later. Oh, tomorrow is my day that I start with Creativation. So I may sneak in some lives if the opportunity arises. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you are interested in seeing what's going on with Creativation, make sure you do so. When I do video, I will be uploading what I don't do live that evening. So you'll be able to see it all when it goes down. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Until next time, happy crafting.